So are you thinking about moving to Warner Robins, Georgia in 2026? Well, right now we are having some of the best times for home buyers that we've had in years. But if you don't know the difference between Warner Robins, Kathleen, and Bonaire, you could end up in the wrong school district. You could end up in a pocket that has a high crime rate, or you could end up running into the base traffic on Watson Boulevard or Russell Parkway going to Robins Air Force Base. So in this video, we're going to cover some of the most common questions that people have about moving to Warner Robins, so you can decide for yourself the best area you want to live in and make the best deal when you buy your home when you get here. So let's get busy. Hey guys, I'm Chris, your real estate problem solver. I'm a real estate agent and an investor in the Middle Georgia area. So any questions that you have about moving to the Warner Robins area, Kathleen, Bonaire, Perry, or even Hawkinsville, reach out to me. My information is in the description below. And I mean it, if you have any questions at all, reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer anything that you've got. So one of the first things that a lot of people Google about Warner Robins is Warner Robins safe? And that's a fair question. So to give you a big picture overview of the Warner Robins crime rate, Warner Robins does have a higher than the national average reporting right now, especially for property crimes like car break-ins or petty theft. Now, keep in mind, these crimes are in certain pockets. Now, when I say pockets, I'm pretty much talking about areas like Green Street south to Watson Boulevard, and from Watson Boulevard along the first quarter mile between Watson Boulevard and Russell Parkway. So if you go from 247 and head west, the first mile or mile and a half is where the majority of these crimes are happening. Now, to keep it in perspective, the violent crimes and serious crimes are trending down. And again, they are very pocketed. So as long as you're in the proper neighborhood, you don't have anything to worry about. Me personally, I'm all over Warner Robins and Bonaire and Kathleen all the time, and I very rarely run into any kind of trouble. Most of the time, if you want to find out about a neighborhood that has trouble or there's a potential for crime, the best thing to do is drive around those neighborhoods on Friday nights and Saturday nights and kind of hang out and see what's going on. That'll give you a much better idea of what that neighborhood is like when nobody else is looking. And if you want to see for yourself, you can log into places like crimerate.org and punch in Warner Robins, and you'll see that the serious crimes are trending down. But to give you a better idea of places that you probably want to lean towards are going to be farther west in Warner Robins towards Houston Lake Road or Highway 41, or farther south towards Highway 96, Kathleen, and Bonaire areas going towards Perry. Those areas are newer, they're nicer, and they have the lower crime rates. So the next question you're going to ask is, should I live in Warner Robins, Bonaire, or Kathleen? And that's more of a personal question, depending on what kind of a commute time you're happy with, what kind of a budget you have, and what kind of amenities you want to be close to. So let's start with Warner Robins. Now, Warner Robins median house prices right now are running between about $270 to $250. So Warner Robins is the hub of the Middle Georgia area, which means that this is where it all began. Warner Robins started out first, and then Bonaire and Kathleen came in afterwards. So most of your shopping, most of your businesses are going to be in the Warner Robins area. And even though there's not a lot of new construction in Warner Robins, there are, but there's just not a lot of it. Most of your houses in Warner Robins are going to be resales, they're going to be older houses, and they're going to be more affordable housing than you would find in Bonaire or Kathleen. Now, if you're military relocating to the Warner Robins area and you want less commute times and easier traffic, then your sweet spot is probably going to be Bonaire, Georgia. Now, Bonaire is directly south of Warner Robins, and around here we call Warner Robins, Bonaire, and Kathleen all one big city, so it's not really that much difference. But Bonaire has taken on a lot of the new housing in the last 20 years, and they are right along Highway 96, which makes it real easy to hit Highway 247, head north, and go right in the Russell Gate at Robins. Now, the median prices for houses in the Bonaire area are running an average of about $315 to $330. These are mostly new construction houses because the last 20 years, Bonaire has taken on the overflow from Warner Robins. Now, most of the houses in Bonaire are either new construction or close to new construction because they're less than 20 years old. So they don't need any updating yet, and they've still got the modern feel that most people like. Now, if you've got a bigger family or a higher budget, then Kathleen, Georgia might be the better pick for you. Now, Kathleen is right beside Bonaire and just south of Warner Robins, right along Highway 96. Again, this area is just as new as Bonaire. Now, for some reason, however it unfolded, a lot of the builders that moved into Kathleen and started building communities like Planters Ridge or the Woodlands, they've built a lot higher priced houses. So you've got neighborhoods like Blue Ridge and even O'Brien Estates off of Houston Lake Road that is starting up a new section right now. And these houses are running between $380,000 all the way up to $500,000. So if you want a bigger house, maybe more house for the whole family, then Kathleen might be your better way to go. And for you family members, next question you're going to be asking is, how are the schools in Houston County? Because in Houston County, you're not just buying a house, you're buying a school zone. So if you research Houston County School District ratings, you're probably going to go someplace like greatschools.org, Diggers, or even niche.com. And they can give you a scorecard of the different school districts and how they rank up. Now, I can't tell you which one's better or worse because I don't know what your personal preferences are and what your goals are. So I can list them through and you can research them and see which one is going to be best for your family. Now, starting with the high schools, some of the better high schools that people really like are Houston County high schools off of Highway 96 in Kathleen. Then you've got Veterans High School, which is off of Old Perry Road in Kathleen again. And then a little farther south, you've got Perry High School. If you're looking for something in Warner Robins High is on South Davis Drive, has very good marks. And then, of course, you've got Northside High School on Green Street. So if your kids are ready for middle school, then some of the places you're going to research is going to be Mossy Creek Middle School, Bonaire Middle School, or even Fagan Mill. And if your kids are coming into elementary school, then you're going to be looking up places like Matt Arthur Elementary, Matt Arthur Primary, or Quail Run Elementary. And if you're in the Warner Robins area, Warner Robins Elementary is right off of Russell Parkway. And if you're thinking you want to look into private school, then one of the choices that we have is Sacred Heart School on South Davis. We've actually got a walkthrough tour right here that you can take a look at and see if that's something that you want to look into. Now, one question I get asked a lot of about living in Warner Robins is a lot of military relocations want to know, is it better to buy a house or rent it? So buying versus renting can actually be a little bit of a trick if you don't know what you're doing. So a lot of people are saying that they would rather rent because House A might rent for about $1,800, where if they buy it, it may cost them $1,900 to $2,000. But before you sign on the lease agreement, here's a couple things you might want to think about, especially with VA loans. VA entitlements, you have the benefits of getting a zero down payment and paying no PMI, which is principal mortgage insurance. So with those being taken out of the equation, it might cost a little bit more, but more of your money is going towards paying down the house. So while it may cost a little bit more per month to buy the house versus rent, there's a couple advantages. First of all, you've got an asset that you can turn around and rent, which we do that as well, when you PCS to your next duty station. Also, having the depreciation of the interest, the property taxes, it comes out to the same dollar amount as renting because you can write those off on your taxes at the end of the year. And then on top of that, now that you own the house, you've got the ability to capture the appreciation of that house. So while you buy it at $200,000 or $250,000 when you move to Warner Robins, you can turn around and enjoy that house going up in value, an average of 3.5% to 4% per year, year over year on average. So while it may cost you a little bit more on the front end, it will save you a little bit on the back end and end up coming out the same, plus benefits on your taxes and your final portfolio when you decide to retire from the military duty. Now, I've been in the Middle Georgia area for over 25 years, and I've only seen one major time frame when it was not conducive to buy a house and then turn around and sell it when you leave your duty station. And that was in 2008 to 2013. But if you hold on to that house for 9 to 10 years, there is no cycle in the history of the U.S. housing market where a house has lost value over a 10-year span. Even in 2008, the market went down, and in 2018, it came back up to the same or more than what it was originally worth in 2008. So as long as you hold on to that house, you're not going to lose money. And you can have an income in rents, which Robins Air Force Base provides a very steady rent demand. So that can produce a supplemental income, and we rent properties ourselves, so we can help you with that part as well. So if you're ready to move to Warner Robins, make sure to click our link down below for our buyer's guide, which goes through getting your pre-approval, shopping around for a lender, and things to look for when you're shopping for your first house or your next house in Middle Georgia. And if you're PCS in the Robins Air Force Base, make sure to click our link to our military relocation guide, which can help you get your house ready, go through mill move, and get everything set up to where you have the smoothest PCS possible. And make sure to contact me, and we'll get a game plan together to make your move to Warner Robins go as smooth as possible. And I'll talk to you on the next video.